Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this webinar. This is something that I have really put a lot of time and effort into because it is something that has grown in popularity and it is something that needs to be discussed and frank discussions need to be had. So I want to start out by asking you something real. Have you started a GLP-1 medication and felt like it gave you hope? Has the scale finally started moving? Are your cravings getting quieter? Maybe you feel like, okay, this time is going to be my time. But deep down, you still have that little voice saying, can I actually keep this up? What happens when I stop taking these shots? Am I doing this the right way? Why am I losing weight but I don't feel strong and I don't feel confident? If you have felt that, trust me, you are not alone. GLP-1s are a tool and a very powerful one at that, but they are not the plan. They don't build the habits. They absolutely do not preserve your muscle, and they don't heal your relationship with food. And they definitely don't guide you through the mindset traps that creep in after a week or two of being on these meds. And that is where I come in. My job is to help women go beyond the shot. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that starting right now. So, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Coach Michelle Hall, and I really do thank you for being here with me. If you're here, it's likely because you're either considering using a GLP-1 like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, or just the generic compounded semaglutide tirzepatide. Or maybe you've already started this journey and you realize, okay, you know what? This shot is just not enough. You're losing weight, but your energy has tanked. You're losing strength. Food is getting confusing to you again. You're wondering how you're going to keep it up, and you're not alone. You're absolutely in the right space. I've been in doing coaching for years, but I've been in this space for even longer as a coach, as a woman who is in midlife, as someone who has personally fought her own battle with health and transformation. So I have partnered with both my clients as well as a medical team to bridge the gap between medical wellness, medication, and lifestyle. And tonight, I am sharing the exact approach that I have been taking that is helping women to lose fat, gain strength, reduce inflammation, and finally feel good in their bodies again. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep following the same patterns, you keep pushing things off for after summer or when things calm down, when life calms down. When has life ever calmed down for us, ladies? Seriously. You're going to be in the same place 6 months from now that you are now. Or even worse, you're going to be right back where you started. And I know you don't want that. So let's talk a little bit about GLP-1s, what they are, how they work, and why they are not enough. So these medications, GLP-1s, they stand for a gut hormone called glucagon-like peptide 1. These medications do slow gastric emptying. They do reduce your appetite. They do block some inflammation receptors. There's a lot more research coming out about that now. They help with the addiction receptors that we have in our brains, our reward center. They do improve insulin sensitivity and help support your blood sugar regulation. And yeah, they're excellent for appetite suppression, reducing binge urges, and supporting a calorie deficit, which, yes, we do unfortunately need in order to lose weight time to time. I'm not talking about being in a consistent calorie deficit and depleting your body of what it needs. But here is the truth as well. They're going to help you lose weight, but they don't tell your body what to lose. And when you're not strength training or eating enough protein, you're probably losing muscle. And long-term muscle loss is going to mean a slower metabolism, fatigue, poor posture. I actually kind of feel myself like sitting up a little bit better saying that. Higher fall risk, which is a very real possibility as we age, and also rebound weight gain. So, yes, the scale is moving, but what else is happening? Are you stronger? Do you feel more confident? How's your sleep? Or are you just white knuckling your way through another thing, hoping it doesn't fall apart? This does not have to be your story. If it sounds familiar, it is. You deserve to feel strong during this process. You don't need to just feel smaller. So, GLP-1s don't teach us how to eat for our bodies. They don't teach us how to shift our mindset around food. They don't tell us how to maintain results once we stop utilizing the meds. And it's a completely different ballgame with us being in midlife because that requires a whole new strategy. The shot cannot do it all, and it should never have been meant to. I want you guys to realize that. The way that some people market these medications is inappropriate because it doesn't do everything. But you know what's harder than trying? Starting over again and again and again. This cycle that we have gone through most of our lives can end today. You just need a plan, a coach, and real support. What if you could stop guessing about everything? What if you had a clear plan that's tailored to your midlife body? What if you didn't have to figure this all out on your own anymore? That is exactly what this program gives you. There's no more hoping it's going to work with just this shot and having the scale in your bedroom that you use. Because the old advice doesn't work. Eat less and move more. Let's do hours and hours of cardio. Let's cut calories and skip meals. Please don't do that. That does not work in midlife because our bodies have changed. What's really going on? Well, hormonal shifts. That's the big one. Perimenopause and menopause. We have declining estrogen and progesterone. That's going to affect our fat storage because, the the fat likes to accumulate right here in our bellies now, right? It's going to affect our hunger, and it's definitely going to affect our mood. Increased cortisol. That's going to make this belly fat that we're gaining as we go through this process even more stubborn, even harder to get off of our bodies. Our muscle loss accelerates after the age of 40 at a frightening rate if we are not intentional about maintaining it, keeping it, and building it. We're going to have sleep disturbances and stress. that make cravings even worse. This is a really hard time for women. A lot of us are becoming empty nesters. A lot of us are dealing with parents that are aging, and we are losing our parents, and we're possibly becoming caregivers to them. On top of working and maintaining a home and maybe becoming a grandparent, there's a lot happening in our lives. There's a lot of stress at this period in our lives. Any woman over the age of 40 is susceptible to any of these situations. So, sleep disturbances and stress are a very real thing in midlife. And then we also have to deal with gut health changes. That's going to impact the nutrient absorption that we have. And it could also lead to some issues with inflammation. The gut brain barrier is a topic that's a whole different thing to go through, but it's very important for especially midlife women to know about. So, the real solution is a layered, tailored approach. So, we have strength training. That's going to preserve the lean tissue that we have and also help protect our bones. We have high protein meals, a minimum of 25 to 30 grams of protein. But do you know what kind of protein you need to be having? Do you know what kind of meals you should be eating? Anti-inflammatory tools. We definitely need those when we are perimenopause and postmenopausal. Stress and sleep support, because those are very important. And then also mindset coaching to stop the all or nothing cycle that we have been in so long. We can also add some metabolic support into our lives. How do we do that? Well, some GLP-1 protocols do include metabolic boosters and anti-aging supports. This is something that I have built into my collaboration with Apex. So I'll go through a few of them and just kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of what they do. Okay. So we've got B12. Most of you have probably heard of B12. Some of you may even go to medical spas or IV clinics or places like that to get B12 injections yourselves. It helps with energy metabolism. It helps to prevent fatigue, especially when you have a suppressed appetite if you're taking a GLP-1. It supports our red blood cell production as well as nerve health. And B12 is often depleted in women who are over the age of 40. And if you have been on any long-term medication, you are probably deficient in B12. So that's one of them. MIC, not KEYMOUSE, but let's see if I can say this right. Methionine, inositol, and choline, MIC. It's a lipotropic blend that supports fat metabolism. It's kind of like metabolic grease, if you will, keeping the machine greased up, right? It can help with liver detoxification, which is going to be key for us going through this midlife change because we need that for estrogen metabolism. It's going to help reduce the fat that's accumulating in your liver. If you've ever heard of non-alcoholic fatty liver, it's going to help with that. And if you still have a gallbladder, it will support your gallbladder function because we do metabolize fat differently as we enter this stage of our life. L-carnitine is something that is in my GLP-1. Yes, I do microdose GLP-1s, ladies. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's been a little experiment of mine. So L-carnitine helps transport fatty acids into cells that are then burned for energy as opposed to using glucose as our primary cell fuel burner. We're helping to get these fatty acids that we already have in our bodies transported into our cells and using those to fuel our bodies. It supports endurance. It does help with fat burning. That's the biggest reason why I got it. And it also assists with mitochondrial function. And L-carnitine can also help with mental clarity as well as exercise recovery. So if you're doing a strength training program, you want something that's going to help you with your recovery, because rest and recovery mean we are building muscle, which is very important. And who doesn't deal with brain fog from perimenopause? Seriously. So NAD plus is the fourth one I'm going to talk about. That one is in my particular blend as well. And you've probably heard it talked about a lot. I've heard a lot about it over, the last 2 to 5 years. It's really blown up as like the anti-aging molecule. So I know there are skin formulas, moisturizers, things like that that have NAD in them that are applied to our skin. There are people, again, who go to medical spas and places like that to have NAD supplements injected. And there's also a lot of people online, a lot of influencers and stuff like that, who are now promoting supplements that you take orally to to boost the NAD in your body. Do those work? I don't know. I'm not going to waste the money to see if they do, honestly. So NAD does decline significantly as we age, which is why it's so popular in these anti-aging regimens that people are supporting now. It helps with cellular repair, energy production, as well as brain health. And that is a very, very important thing to me. Brain health, cognitive focus, making sure that this up here stays as healthy as possible for as long as possible, because I did lose my dad to Lewy body dementia when he was 67 years old. I'm 48. 67 is not that far away from me. So it'll also help with insulin sensitivity and inflammation that we experience in our bodies. Together, these compounds definitely will enhance fat loss, energy, mood, and metabolic resilience. So the they're going to be very useful for those of us who are peri and postmenopausal. As I said, NAD levels drop as we age, so replenishing them can support inflammation, insulin, longevity, so on and so forth. It's not hype. These are real evidence-based supports that will help women not just lose weight, but also feel better while doing it. So let me ask you, what is the cost of staying exactly where you are? What is the cost of staying the same? How many more months will you avoid photos or straight up sit out of them intentionally? Avoid the mirror. Feel frustrated with the reflection that is on the other side of that mirror, even while you're losing weight, because this time you can change the outcome. It's not just about the scale, but it's also about your energy, your mindset, and your entire life. The last few months, I've worked with a handful of women who are using the combined approach of coaching plus GLP-1 functional supports, and they are absolutely thriving. One woman broke through a 2-year long stall, plateau, whatever you want to call it, not just with her weight, but also with food peace. She said she's never experienced actual food peace in her life. It could be me talking. Another one has dropped 2 pant sizes in the last 8 weeks. And she's over the age of 50. Another one has had her confidence return after years of just the same old, same old. So many of them say, I finally feel like myself again. This program isn't just about weight loss. It's about reclaiming your health and your life. That is so very important. So, what is in this coaching program that I keep referring to, right? Well, let's ask. What is going to cost you more? Waiting, because that has a cost, or moving forward with being proactive in healing your body and healing your mind and healing your relationships, not just with people that you associate with every day, but also with food. Because every week without structure is more muscle lost. It is more confusion. It is more fear of rebounding back to what we've always dealt with, right? But when you decide to say yes, you decide to move forward, get this new strategy involved, everything shifts. You go from just existing and surviving to actually building a beautiful life. You go from shrinking, hiding in the corner, to actually getting stronger. This is not a try harder program. I hate that. I hate when I hear people say that. Just go harder. It is a finally succeed program. You don't need more hustle. You need a system that matches your body and the season of life that you're currently in. The women I coach walk in feeling unsure, but they walk out with strategy. They walk out with strength. And more importantly, they walk out with food peace. Finally, we have 12 weeks of structured, progressive coaching. We have weekly themes that we'll focus on. One week we'll focus on nutrition. One week we'll focus on mindset. One week we'll focus on strength, building muscle. One week we'll focus on stress. One week we'll focus on sleep, digestion, so on and so forth. Because it's not just about losing weight, right? Or at least it shouldn't be. I have workouts that are programmed online, and I have everything from beginner, just essential movements, all the way up to a gym based strength building program. You are going to get weekly check ins with me. You are going to get weekly calls with me. You'll get some PDFs that will help you with habit tracking and accountability for yourself as well. And you have access to me as your coach. You will all have my personal cell phone number. But on top of all that, you're also going to have access to our clinical partner, Apex MD, for the GLP-1 medications, refills, lab requests, and just additional support. Again, this is the bridge between medication and lifestyle because one without the other is not enough. I am not here to fix you. I'm here to finally allow you to understand your body and build something that's going to last for you. There are a lot of people talking about GLP-1s right now, but almost no one is teaching you how to actually thrive while using them, especially in midlife. And I'm not here to give you another cookie cutter program. I am here to give you real results that are going to last you. No burning out, no losing muscle, and no losing your identity in the process. The truth is, this is a window of transformation, and the door is wide open right now. But if you walk past it, you may find yourself in the same exact place a year from now, frustrated, spinning your wheels, hopping from program to program, diet to diet, and then wondering, is it even possible for me to change? It is possible. I am a certified coach, yes, but I am a woman who has lived through this. I have battled weight loss resistance. I have dealt with hormone shifts. I have overcome an emotional eating disorder. I had weight loss surgery and failed at that. And I have started over more times than I can even count. When I have my Facebook memories come up and I see the newest program and the newest shake and the newest patch and the newest everything else, it it blows my mind that I was a constant chaser of watching the scale go down. So I've partnered with these trusted medical professionals, and I believe you deserve both sides of the equation, the clinical support as well as the behavioral coaching. Most programs are going to give you one or the other, and this one gives you both. So if you're ready to stop hoping and actually start building, I'm going to walk with you every step of the way. Imagine waking up in 90 days, just 90 days, and knowing I am doing this and it's working. You're not hoping anymore. You're not starting over again. It's not another Monday. You have got a team behind you. You've got habits that are finally sticking, and you have results that are not going anywhere. Because honestly, you were not meant to do this alone. Coaching should not be a luxury. It is your lifeline back to your full self. And it is not too late to rewrite your story. You just have to take the pen back. So if you feel like this is finally your season to take control without burning out, without bouncing between diets, or with not having to do this alone, I would love to invite you to join me. And so let's talk a little bit about investment because, yes, I know that that does matter. My full 12-week GLP-1 coaching program is normally set at $997. That includes all of your tools, that includes the app that you utilize, it includes your workouts, it includes your nutrition support, it includes your habit coaching, and it also includes accountability directly from me. $997 is not that much for 12 weeks of consistent help. The medication, which is available through my partners at Apex MD, starts at $299 a month. And that is inclusive of whatever dose and supplements or boosters you have added to that medication. But here's the deal. Because you are here with me tonight, I am offering a special discounted rate on my coaching as a thank you for showing up, not just for me, but also for yourself. This is not something that I'm going to post publicly. It is just for you webinar attendees. So if you want in on the special pricing, either stay till the end or shoot me a DM afterwards, and I will send you the exclusive link to save your spot. I am also offering some discovery calls this week, absolutely free, to see if this program would be a right fit for you. We're going to talk about your goals. We're going to talk about what's been keeping you stuck. And we'll talk about how we can build a strong, sustainable plan together. So you can also message me about that link to get a discovery call scheduled with me for this week. But here's the caveat. Spots are limited. And that's not an exaggeration. I decided when I started this GLP-1 program, because of the intensity that it is, I was only going to have 10 people that I was going to have in this GLP-1 program. Well, as of last week, I have 5 of those spots already filled. So I am only going to accept 5 more ladies into this program. That is not a sales pitch. That is not a threat. That is reality. I want to make sure that those of you who are in this program are getting the direct attention that you deserve. So I am going to encourage you, do not wait until your medication stops working. Do not wait until your muscle is gone. Do not wait until you are completely burned out. You deserve this support now and results that last. I would absolutely be honored to walk through this with you. So let's go beyond the shot. Let me see. I've got a couple questions here that I want to address. Okay, so this question here is about talking to her practitioner about getting on GLP-1 medications. She's been thinking about it since she met me a few weeks ago and doesn't know how to bring it up to her practitioner. My recommendation would be just have a conversation with them. Tell them, I've been doing some research on these medications and I am wondering if they will help me. If your doctor is resistant to allowing you to have these medications, to writing out a prescription, you have the option of contacting Apex MD, and I can give you a website link to get you through to them, complete a questionnaire, have a conversation via telehealth with a doctor, and then decide if it's right for you. I know that you are dealing with what you suspect is lipedema, and I do have another client who is currently taking a GLP-1 who has been encouraged by her holistic practitioner to see if it will help with the fat burning, as opposed to going to lengths of utilizing, or having surgery to help with the lipedema. So that is a conversation you need to be comfortable having with your practitioner. You need to advocate for yourself. And if, again, they say no, let me know, reach out to me, and I will give you the link for you to be able to talk to a practitioner through Apex that's licensed in your state. Okay. Next question is asking about what I am doing. Okay. So I am going to admit I was extremely against GLP-1s up until October of last year. I viewed them as a cheat. I had a very similar attitude, like many other coaches do. And I just thought it was the easy way out, much like I thought me having had weight loss surgery was the easy way out until it almost killed me and I had it reversed. So, my particular journey in this is I started microdosing in January of this year. Microdosing means I am taking a dose that is less than the recommended starting dose for most pharmaceutical companies. For semaglutide, most of the starting doses are 0.25, and tirzepatide is, I believe, 2.5. I started with semaglutide at 0.06, and I had success with that dosage. I still am not at the recommended starting dose 6 months in. I have started on tirzepatide now because I wanted to do 6 months on semaglutide, 6 months on tirzepatide to see how my body responded to each of the medications. I had almost an instant quieting of the food noise. And when I talk about food noise, I'm not talking about my hunger. I am talking about the non-stop thought of food. Sitting here doing this Zoom, back in the day, I would be thinking about food. What am I going to eat as soon as I get off this call? Sitting at a meal, thinking of what I was going to make for the next meal. That is not normal, but that is what so many of us deal with all the time. So, yes, I had almost an instantaneous quieting of the food noise. I listen to my body when it's giving me my hunger cues. I do not have the slower gastric emptying. I do not have the appetite suppression, but I have benefits that are aside from the weight loss. The inflammation that I still had in my body, even after being 4.5 years on a ketogenic diet, has been eliminated by microdosing. The brain health, I told you that was actually what got me into researching microdosing, was more studies that were coming out about neurocognitive benefits of microdosing or of GLP-1s. So that's what started me into this research and ultimately led to me doing this 12-month experiment that I'm doing on myself. And that is the other thing. I am stopping this experiment at 12 months. I do not plan on being on a GLP-1 for the rest of my life. We'll see if that changes when I titrate off and I end up back to reality, I guess you can say. We'll see how it goes. But that is why I started doing the microdosing. So we've got microdosing and we have macro dosing. Macro dosing is starting at the recommended amount that most practitioners and again, pharmaceutical companies recommend. So that's a little bit about what I'm doing and why I started doing it. But all right, I don't see any other questions here. So again, if you guys are ready, if you want to book this discovery call with me or you're ready to go all in, just send me a DM and I can get you the links to get everything set up, whether it be for a phone call or get you logged in or signed up for this program. Again, I have 5 spots left. That's it. Once they are full until somebody graduates out of the program. It is a 12-week program, but I already have women who have committed to 6 months. So keep that in mind when you're making your decision about what you're doing. And I will send you the link with the discounted rate for this 12-week program, and you can get started. Okay. Thanks again so much, everybody, for joining me tonight, and I will see you down the road.